Yo, what's up Chaos TV family? What's up Chaos TV Network? It's your boy Chaos Hero here again with another TCG tutorial update. Now, for all you that do know, there's a new format of Yu-Gi-Oh that's coming out called Link Summoning. Now, a lot of speculation has been going around the fact that Link Summoning is either going to change or gum up or difficult the game. I'm here to tell you it's not that serious and it's not that bad. So let's get into the tutorial of Link Summoning Era. Now, the Link Summoning Era introduces not only just a new type, which is called Cybers, they also introduced new cards, formerly known as Link Summon Monsters. Now, Link Summon Monsters, if you can already see, do not have a level or a rank at the top of their icons. But they have these special little corners called link markers. And anytime the link markers are lit up with red, as you can clearly see, they have their effects and their abilities where they can actually use them. Now, normally, any monster would have attack and defense, but Link monsters don't. As you can clearly see from the card. My apologies. All they have is just a simple attack. And their effect right here and up above is the ingredients they need to be summoned. Normally, Link monsters go right into the extra monster zones. Either player can occupy these zones. There's one zone for each player. And depending on where the link markers are, is where you can special summon monsters from the extra deck. Which also gets to another point that I actually added to this tutorial. For those of you that are worried about what link summoning does and how it works, is basically this. All it does is just slow down what you can normally do in the extra deck. Simple as that. So let's get into some examples. First example is, let's get this out of the way, how to link summon. Okay, now, we have three examples. We have Link Spider, Code Talker, and Honeybot. Now, let's give some prime examples, shall we? Now, I'm going to draw fresh from the hand. So I'm going to put my extra deck right over here. And put my main deck right over here. Now, first thing first, we want to get out the way and notice, besides the new extra monster zones, we still have everything regular up here. We have the 5 monster zones and the 5 spell and trap card zones. But wait, there's something unusual about this. We have 2 pendulum zones in the monster and spell card zones. If you fill these up with pendulum monsters, they automatically become pendulum zones. They are no longer spell and trap card zones, meaning you only have 3 zones to use for spells. But if you don't use these as pendulums, there are extra spaces, which is 5 spell and trap card zones, which gives you more variety. The deck is over here. Graveyard and field spell zones are still in the same area where they've always been for the last 20 years. So, other than that, let's get to summoning these link monsters, why don't we? Now, let's say I go first. So I draw 5 cards. Pretty interesting hand, why don't you say? So, let's see what we got here. As far as monsters are concerned, we have 1 Draconet, 1 MST, 1 Psynet Universe, which is a field spell that helps out link monsters, 1 Rescue Rabbit, and 1 Megalo Masher X. So, we're going to use Draconet. Draconet's ability is, when he's normal summoned, you can special summon one level 2 or lower normal monster from your hand to or deck in defense position. Sorry. So I'm going to normal summon Draconet. Then I'm going to search through my deck. Put that extra card in there. And search for Bitron. Now, let's say if my opponent mysteriously just wanted to leave my monsters alone, and it goes around to the next one. I can summon either Rescue Rabbit to get 2 Bitrons instead. But I'm going to use this method. Now, what we're going to try to summon out is we're going to try to summon out Honeybots. So, take 2 of the monsters. Honeybot requires 2 cyber monsters. Now, as you can see here, them cybers are really a new archetype. And you can see right here, she does require 2 cyber monsters. Hopefully you guys can see that. I do apologize. So when you tribute these 2 monsters, they go to the graveyard. Then you summon either Link Zone, Honeybot. Now let's say the next turn rolls around. I summon out Rescue Rabbit. Well, let's draw the extra card. And I play down Cybernet. Just for GP. I use his effect, put him out of play. When he goes out of play, I can target 2 normal monsters with the same name and special summon them. Now, let's say if I didn't want to summon Honeybot. By putting Rabbit out of play and summoning out 2 Bitrons, I can go into another monster. Let's say if I want to go into Link Spider. Link Spider requires 1 normal monster, and Bitron happens to be a normal monster. So I throw them in the graveyard and summon out Link Spider. Link Spider allows me to to special summon a normal monster due to his Link marker. This is where where the Link markers are our effects as well. Right here. Or you can just use this card to XZ summon or synchro summon where the Link monsters are pointing. Link monsters allow you to summon through the extra deck and summon something from the extra deck normally to the monster zone. There are other ways that you can special summon cards from the extra deck to the monster zones normally, but they have to go through a whole long drawn out list of things, which I will show you later on. Now, let's say, okay, we don't like this. And I want to try to get out to Code Talker. Now, with the Code Talker, I need 2 cyber monsters, and at least 2 of them, or all 3 of them, have to be effect monsters. So let's do a better prime example with that. So here we are. We have Bitron in defense mode, Draco Net in attack, and also Link Slasher. Now, let's say if this was my starting hand. I special summon Link Slasher, normal summon Draco Net, and then special summon another Bitron. Now, I can easily go into Code Talker this way. So what I need to is 2 effect monsters and 1 normal monster. So I tribute these guys to summon out Code Talker. Now let's say next turn goes by and I have 2 level 4s. This is the one thing about Link Summon monsters that would make them really special and more useful in the Link Summon format. Remember when I said the Link Summoning format basically limits what you can do inside the extra deck. Now if I didn't say that, I'm going to remind you. One thing about the Link Summoning era, it just only manages and slows down how much you can summon out of the extra deck. Now if you special summon from the main deck, that's a different story. And if you special summon from the hand, that's a completely different story on its own. But from the extra deck, it limits it. So let's say if I wanted to XZ summon. The only way I can XZ summon, and the only place I can XZ summon, is right here, where the link markers are. Let's say if I XZ summon into, just for prime example, I know, hold on, this might be a wrong example. Let's see if I can get another Megalomasher out the deck. Now let's see if I have, my apologies. There we go. 2 Megalomashers out on the field while the Code Talker's there. Say if I overlay these 2 and summon out Bahamut Shark. I can easily summon Bahamut Shark as an Xyz monster for my extra deck because where the Code Talker's link markers are, I can summon them to those areas. So the Code Talker's links markers are to the left and to the right. And there's one pointing here. When this is pointing forward, your opponent cannot use this link monster unless specifically notified by an effect. So let's say if there's another link monster besides the Code Talker that can use an ability basically saying both you and your opponent can use this card's link markers, I don't see that happening anytime soon yet, because I've known Konami to do a lot of crazy things. So we might be looking out for one. Let's see if I wanted to activate Bahana Chuck's effect. Detach one Xyz material. But wait a minute. The extra monster zone is already full. Where can I summon? Do I summon into the other extra monster zone? I don't think so. Wait, there's another link marker right here pointing to this monster zone. So what I do is I special summon that monster right over here. Bam. Then I can activate another effect if I want to and chain it, like Full Armor Ray Lancer. Put him on top of there. Then I can overlay again. And there you go. I just managed to summon out Utopic Future 0 just like that. Now, that's not a very GP play, and it's not a very good play. But it's just an example to show you what link summoning is. It's not something that's really bad. It's not something that's really good. I will admit a lot of decks in recent formats that have been up to the Pendulum Summoning era have suffered greatly, and a lot of people, are redoing and rethinking their deck builds. And it may take a lot of time and effort to rebuild them. But at the same time, link summoning is fun. It's a new challenge, and I like it. Now, other than that, let's see what else link summoning era and link summoning in general bring to us. So the one thing that link summoning has changed so far is how we mainly do the normal format that was, in the last 3 years, formerly known as Pendulum Summon. Now, like I said before, the Pendulum Summon skills are right down here instead of being on the side, which limit what you can set down as spell and traps. For example, check out my hand. It looks pretty decent. I can make a combo here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to set my scales. Scale 8, Odd Eyes Unicorn. And scale 1, Moton. Now, if I want to pendulum summon, I can easily pendulum summon from the hand with no problem at all. Now, I can pendulum summon, confusion summon, my apologies, for one card. Now, I can actually fusion summon for Odd Eyes, Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Now, link monsters, unlike regular fusions, Xyz, and Synchros, they can actually be put in extra monster zone in defense or attack position, so the option is clear. The only monsters that can't go in defense position are link monsters, either face down or face up. And he is in the extra monster zone. Now, let's say the next turn rolls around. High draw. My hand's looking a little plugged right now. But what if I pendulum summoned? That's right. Due to the fact that this extra monster zone is filled, I can't pendulum summon. You see, normally you can pendulum summon out the hand like crazy, and then you can pendulum summon the next turn again out of the extra deck like crazy. Now, you have to actually limit what you can do. Now, normally I would have been able to pendulum summon both Trump Girl and Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon back to the main field on the main monster zone. But due to the link summoning format, I can't do that because they're special summoned from the extra deck. You see, unlike regular monsters that special summoned from the graveyard, pendulums are special summoned from the extra deck, so they still count as monsters being special summoned from the extra deck. So it also slows down pendulums a little bit more than usual, but it's not really a big deal. Now, there's also some other ways you can get around the link summoning format that don't really make this really arduous. Now, if you are on a budget and you're dueling on a budget and you really don't want to take a risk on using the pendulums and you don't have the time, money, or probably energy to get 3 starter decks and build the link summoning format structure deck from scratch like I did, if you want to know how that does, How that works, check out my channel. There's a unboxing and also a deck profile on how to build a 3 starter deck budget deck. There are some other ways to get around the link summon format involving special summoning from the extra deck and the link monster, aka extra monster zones. Now, for this example, I'm going to use one of my staple and one of my favorite card archetypes, the Satellar Knights. Now, let's say if I wanted to summon out Ucalahai. I normally summon out Ucalahai, and I look for Vega. I find Vega, and I throw her in the graveyard. I shuffle my deck afterwards, put it down. Let's say if I place one spell a trap card. Now also, like I said before, if you have pendulums, let's say, just for example, if I use the Satellar Knights, but I don't have Satellar Knight pendulum cards, I can't use these to put any more face downs. So that means I can't put face down spell trap cards on top of these cards because they're counted as pendulum scales. Meaning these are pendulum scales. Meaning I only have 3 spell trap card zones to use. But if I don't, I can put as many spell trap cards as I want to. Now let's say if the next turn rolls around, just for on GP, I play Solidarity, and I activate by summoning Altair. Altair's effect activates. I summon one Stellar monster in defense position, and at this time I can XZ summon very easily. I activate Vega's effect, special summon Cirrus. Cirrus effect doesn't go off because I don't have 5 cards in the graveyard. Let's say I XZ summon, overlay. I search for my extra deck for Trevere or cards like Delteros. Now, Delteros and Trevere have a similar effect to each other. Anytime these guys go to the graveyard, you can special summon one Satellar Knight monster. And this should also be a combo that you should probably try. So let's say if I felt like doing Trevere, and I say if my opponent has, Link monster on the field, like, oh no, the Code Talker with 2 other monsters right here, I don't know what to do. Exit summon. Move Trevere to this area. Get rid of everything, return it to the hand. My opponent returns the Code Talker back to the extra deck. End of problem. Now let's say if Trevere went to the graveyard. I can activate Trevere's effect by summoning one Satellar Knight monster from my graveyard. So the monster I'm going for, you already know, is Trevere. Activate Trevere's effect. You can summon one. You can summon activating Altair's effect. You can special summon one Satellar Knight monster from my graveyard. And guess who's in my graveyard? Trevere. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Trevere's an XZ monster. He can't be special summoned to the monster zone. Well, there is a way around getting your extra deck monsters from the monster zone to the main monster zone. There's actually, I think, 2 ways, I believe. The one way from the extra deck to the monster zone, and let's say if somebody used Utopic Future and they took control of that monster, putting it on the other side of the field. When it comes back at the end of the turn, it doesn't go back to the extra monster zone. It actually goes back to whatever zone you choose to put it in the main monster zone. If it comes from the graveyard, if it comes from the extra monster zone to the graveyard and back to the field, it doesn't go back into the extra monster zone. It goes to the monster zone. So that's a way to free up space in your extra monster zone. So by that time, you can just easily summon out Vega or whatever you want and XZ summon again. There you go. There's plenty of ways around to the link summoning era, and it's really easy. Well, that about wraps it up for this TCG tutorial. It's been a great tutorial so far. Like I said, I cannot wait to get into the Link Summoning era. We're gonna really have some fun together. I have some plans for some really awesome deck builds. Also, just want to let you know, other decks that like dinosaurs, Cyber Angels, Cosmos, and Monarchs are not going to be that badly affected by the Link Summoning format due to a lot of things that are opening up for the new Link Summoning format, which make them really interesting. I really think that the Link Summoning format brings a new challenge and a new obstacle to dueling as itself. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. And remember, we're going to go to this together. We're going to go through the Link Summoning era together. And like I said, I got you. But we got some other projects coming in. I will be doing a figurine review probably tomorrow or later on, probably during this week, on the Mega Man toy collectibles. There's 6 basically 6mm figures, which are pretty interesting. They're better than they're a little bit more interesting than their D-Arts counterparts, but I did pre-record that and the lighting was bad. So please forgive me. I might be doing a re-recording of that pretty soon, or hopefully soon. If not, then I probably just post the video up as it is. It will be terrible. I will be honest with you on that. I am still working on the Cyber Angels project, so hopefully that gets done and over with. But like I said, you guys are going to love the new Link Summoning format. If you want to see how I built this Link Summoning structure deck, go on my channel. It should be down below. Click right there on my channel. There's a playlist right there for unboxings and also deck profiles. If you're not into deck profiles, check out my toy segment on my channel called Collectibles and Gear Review, where I do various nerd gear, collectibles, figures, and all other kinds of crazy, wacky, and awesome accessories. But other than that, it's your boy Chaos Hero, and I just stepped out the chaos to give you an awesome TCG tutorial of the Link Summoning format, and we're taking the biggest step ever into the Link Summoning era. Like I said, peace out, keep dueling, keep shuffling, keep playing TCGs, and having fun. Peace.